Hello everybody, it's Cody here from Some Guys Gaming, your one-stop shop for everything awesome, and welcome to my very first God Guide. Today we're going to be talking about Au Puch. I hope you guys are ready for one of the most OP mages in the game. I know I am. Alright, let's hop into it, shall we? Okay, so first things first, let's get into how I build Au Puch. Now this, what you're looking at right now, is my standard build. Let's go through the items. So my first item is Warlock Stat. So my first item is Warlock Sash. I get this item because it gives you a good bit of mana, a good bit of health, and a good bit of power. I get this item first so I can start stacking it first and foremost. And it's probably the most important item you can get for Au Puch. You see, Au Puch has a little bit of a mana problem. If you don't get something to supplement his mana, you're constantly going back, you're constantly using pots, you're constantly getting the blue buff. So this is definitely a worthwhile item to get. My second items are cooldown boots. Now the reason I go for cooldown boots other than pin boots is because it's just personal preference. You can build cooldown or pin boots on Au Puch, it doesn't really matter. Me personally, I like more cooldown because I can spam my abilities a little bit faster. So that's just my personal preference, is cooldown boots. And of course the movement speed. So my third item is Kronos' Pendant. Now again, this one, it gives you a little bit of power, but mostly cooldown. Gives you a 25% cooldown boost, and that is just fantastic. So with this item, Shoes of Focus, and then a mana pot, and then a pot of magical power, whatever, the purple pot, whatever it's called. With these things, you'll have full cooldown. That means you could literally throw your one ability in about 3 seconds with Au Puch, and that is just incredibly stupid. This next item is what I call the fun item with Au Puch. It's Gem of Isolation. Gives you a good bit of damage, gives you a good bit of mana, good bit of health, but the cool thing about it is it has a 25% slow on all damaging abilities. Now you pair that with Au Puch's other slows that he has on his 1 and his alt, and you basically got gods moving in mud, not being able to move, and not being able to get out of the way of your massive AoE. My next item is Spear of the Magus. Now Spear of the Magus is a penetration item, and in my personal experience, Spear of the Magus does more damage than Obsidian Shard with gods that have a tick ability or a damage over time ability. Now both items will work on Au Puch. Spear of the Magus and Obsidian Shard will work, but I use Spear of the Magus to kind of help me secure those kills that get hit with my damage over time ability, manage to escape, and then you just see them drop dead way in the background because my damage over time just kind of ate away at what they have left, which is not a lot when it comes to Au Puch. My fifth and final item is my power item, Rod of Tahuti. Now Rod of Tahuti is very, very good. It has 125 magical power. 125 magical power. Holy crap, it's good. So yeah, you just get this to kind of supplement your power, which with Au Puch, let's be honest, his power doesn't really need to be supplemented, but this thing really does great. It gives you that final push to be OP, over the top awesomeness. So this is my standard build. This is what I use on most of my matches, and it does very, very well. I have a positive kill death ratio with Au Puch, and I plan to keep it that way and keep growing my stats. This is my stats on my standard build. As you can see here, my power is 613 out of 900. Attack speed 1.04, that's fine. Penetration 15 out of 50. Penetration could be supplemented with pin boots maybe later on in the match if you want to sell cooldown boots for pin boots. Yeah, that's fine. Defense is not really a lot. Health is a problem for Au Puch. Au Puch is very, very squishy. It does a lot of damage, but it's very squishy. So we'll talk about that in the gameplay section. HP 515, not very good. Movement, meh. Cooldown is fantastic. See, this is why I love my standard build, is because it has great cooldown, and I can just spam my abilities like crazy. Mana's, you know, right in the middle. It's pretty good, I'd say, for Au Puch. But the thing that really sets my standard build apart from a lot of other people's builds is look at that MP5. My MP5 is 53 out of 100. That means you're literally getting mana back so quick. if you use one of your abilities, your mana's full by the time you use it. That's 53 mana a second, and some of your abilities only cost 80. So just keep that in mind. Okay, let's take a look at another one of my builds that I build on occasion. This is what I call my power build. So we start off the same: Warlock Sash, cooldown boots, and then it changes. Instead of getting Chronos' Pendant, I get Soul Reaver. And then we go Gem of Isolation, and then it changes again. Instead of Spear of the Magus, I get Spear of the Desolation. Then we get Rod of Tahuti. So Soul Reaver has 100 magical power and plus a passive that deals a literal fuck ton of damage. And then Spear of Desolation has 125 power and 10 penetration, I think. It's not a lot, but the power is incredible. So let's go look at the stats on my power build. So as you can see, the power build stats are pretty fucking different. The power has jumped up majorly from 613 to 731. Attack speed stayed the same. Penetration, it rose up by 10, yeah, or by 5, or however much. It's not a big change, but I mean, it would be useful against some tankier enemies. Health pretty much stayed the same. HP 5 stayed the same. Now over on utility, that's where things have changed drastically. The cooldown has dropped from 30 to 10, and my MP5 has dropped from over 50 to over 20. So as you can see, the MP5, that's going to be a problem later, or in the earlier game, because you're going to be using your abilities so quick that your MP5 is not going to be able to refill your mana fast enough, and you're going to have to go back to the shop more than you want to with this build. So those are my two standard builds for Au Puch. One's more utility, one more offensive. Definitely both will work, it doesn't matter. It just depends on how you want to play them. Don't let these builds get stagnant either. A lot of players build one way and that's the only way they want to build for the rest of time. You have to build according to the game you're playing against. If you're playing against more tanks, if you're playing against a guy that is building magical protection, get more penetration. If you're building against this, get more of that. You know, you have to look at the items that counteract other items. So don't let these builds get stagnant. These are just standard builds, and I think it's a good starting point for you to get out there and play Au Puch in Arena or Clash, or more of the casual game types. Alright, let's take a look at his abilities. Au Puch's passive is called Hollow Ground. When you throw your corpses on the ground, you could either eat them for extra health. I mean, if you want to do that. I don't know who wants to eat dead corpses, but apparently this guy. You can eat them for extra health and mana, or you can blow them up for a massive damage burst and a huge AoE. Literally, it takes up almost the whole lane. Au Puch has the biggest AoE in the game. Did you hear me? He has the biggest AoE in the game. Alright, so let's talk about his one ability, Undead Surge. Au Puch throws up to 2 corpses that rush forward and explode onto anything they touch. Okay, it's a very, very good ability, but you know what else is better than just that ability? Look at that damage. 170 plus 35% of your magical power. Now, that might not seem very much, but you factor in when you throw in your 3 ability as well. Now, I will throw up the final number after we do all the calculations here in a second, but as you can see there, corpses dropped at level 1 and 2, it's 1, at level 3, 4, and 5, it is 2 corpses. So I recommend upgrading this ability to level 3 before you kind of prioritize the others. Alright, ability number 3, Fleeting Breath. Oh, Corpse Explosion. Okay, so his 2 is called Corpse Explosion. Au Puch's causes target area to explode, dealing damage. This ability also causes corpses to explode from other abilities, such as your 1 and 3. So as you can see, there is the damage. The damage initial is 100 plus 10% of your magic power, and then you boost that damage per corpse. That is per corpse is 160 plus 25% of your magical power. Now you factor that in to your 1 and 3 ability, and you have a massive damage burst. Au Puch's 3 is called Fleeting Breath. Au Puch throws a charm from the underworld, which awakens a corpse that inflicts gods with miasma, or some other kind of STD that you can get from Zeus's juice. Alright, 1 tick of damage per 1 second. They take additional damage if they heal during the duration of the tick damage. And just look at those stats. Would you just look at it? Would you just look at it? Yeah, that's pretty damn OP, ain't it? So Au Puch's ult is called Empty the Crypts. Now Au Puch launches an army of wraiths from the 9th hell that swarm forward and deal damage to enemies when they collide with them. Now this ability is not very OP as far as we're talking about Au Puch. Every other ability he has is OP, but his ult really isn't. As you can see, 80 damage per wraith, and that is when the wraiths actually hit. The wraiths are kind of spaced out, so not every single one is going to hit your enemy. Well, plus 10% of your magical power. So, you know, it's not a very damaging ability, but it's very good at pushing gods back, and it's very good using as a type of escape. Now we will look at those in our game awareness section, or whatever it's called. Bleh. Alright, so now we are going to look at how to use this guy. Okay, so your best combination is going to be XBA, or 1-3-2, depending on what you're playing on. What that's going to do is your 1 ability is going to rush out, hit them, slow them. Your B ability is going to hit them, do damage over time, and then your A ability is going to hit them, do massive damage at a huge AoE. Bam, get the kill every time. Okay, so this is great use of Au Puch's ult. As you can see, we are attacking this Kumbhakarna very, very hard. We get him down, his passive is up, so I go ahead and use my ult. It creates a massive wave of corpses that pushes every enemy away from the dead Kumbhakarna, so I can go ahead and let Freya pick up that kill. Let's go ahead and take a look at his XBA ability on a god that is about as squishy as himself. So I'm going to hit Anubis right here with my XBA. Bam, dead. So here I'm going to show you an example of when the XBA ability doesn't work. It's when gods have escapes. As you can see here, this ROM, XBA, bam, he escaped and did not take very much damage at all. So if you come across a god with an escape, then you're pretty much just screwed, and you have to rely on your teammates to kind of help you let that god use his escape beforehand, maybe get a good knock up, or get something going with your teammates, get a little combination going with your teammates, so that this ROM or a Cupid or anybody with a dash or a jump such as Neith does not use that ability and get away from you every time. So as you can see here, 6, 0, and 15, most gold per minute, best player damage, best minion damage. This is absolutely incredible. Au Puch is very, very OP. So if you want to play as an OP mage that does a ton of damage, then you're looking at him right here. It's Au Puch, definitely. I have my Au Puch to level 10. I have positive stats with him. He's just an incredible god. I definitely highly recommend him. So if you guys think I did a good job explaining Au Puch, how to build him, how to use him, and all that good stuff, then leave me a like and leave me a comment. Maybe you're having some trouble learning a god yourself. Maybe you want to play better with one of your favorite gods. Just leave me a comment saying, hey, could you do a god guide on Zeus or Loki or Scylla, Poseidon, Kumbhakarna? It doesn't really matter to me. I can play pretty much everybody in the game. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you want to, hit the subscribe button. It really, really helps me and Corey and Kevin out. So yeah, a special little announcement: at 300 subscribers, we're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything. So go ahead and ask us anything, and we will answer when we get 300 subscribers. Alright, that's pretty much it. I'm Cody from Some Guys Gaming, your one-stop shop for everything awesome. Thanks for watching, guys.